I'm often amazed at how some folks in the clean energy sector that we talk with at Clean Edge overlook this key motivator around cost and savings. I think at SolarCity you guys nailed that one. But I just love your take on this from your vantage point at SolarCity. Obviously it supports your business model, but I would just love to get your take on this pretty significant margin between those two options.
Yeah, we've seen this in markets that we enter, and when we try to determine what's the best pricing that we should offer to our customers. So when we go into a market, we're competing against the cost of retail energy. And so we, over the years, we've tried different discounts to the cost of energy. And so we tried 5% discounts, and a 5% discount just wasn't enough to get the conversion rate. So we find that the sweet spot for our customers was in the 15 to 20% discount of retail electricity, and then the conversion rate was higher. We also tried in some areas where we could even higher discount rate. So if you're looking at the 25 to 30%, we actually didn't see an increase in conversion. So what we found was, if you show a good savings, it doesn't have to be incredible, but just a good savings. Given the choice of paying more for dirty power or less for clean power, people then adopt clean power. But given the choice, but it's marginally the same, then your conversion rate is not high enough.
And how much do you play up the environment? Obviously, cost savings, money leads. That's got to be the key messaging. How much do you also play up the environmental impact of switching to solar in your messaging?
We do. So I'd say the three main messages that we communicate is savings, control, and environmental.
Got it. And the control, does that go over just, is that I have fewer maintenance requirements? Is that I have now control my own energy destiny?
So you know for the next 20 years exactly what you're going to be paying for your energy.
Yeah.
And you know where your energy comes from. So it's a hedge, and it's important to where you get your energy from. And so that type of control our consumers like. And then, of course, the environmental benefits.
Great. And then obviously
I actually think this next year or so, the environmental benefits are actually going to increase. Like the water usage and the way water is being consumed today is going to become a big problem, specifically here on the West Coast. Most people don't know this, but the amount of water you use to create the electricity for your house is more than water consumption itself for that house. So the utilities use more water in providing the electricity for your house than all your dishwashing, all your laundry, all your showers, and that includes homes with pools. So as that gets more educated, as consumers get more educated on that, water consumption is going to become a bigger and bigger issue. We've been seeing here on the West Coast, some markets are starting to do ration water. But in reality, the best thing for you to do is if you were to install a solar system. I know it sounds self-serving, but bear with me. If you were to install a solar system, the net effect of that is better than not using water at all.
Well, if you could show the embodied water in various energy sources at the retail rate and then a solar rooftop, that'd be great. I think you're right that environmental piece around water is going to be huge, and thanks for pointing it out. Let's move to the next question. And John, I'd like you to sort of take a look at this with me. So while 38% of homeowners surveyed in 2015 said they think that solar power is more expensive than their current retail rates, this is down 5 percentage points from last year's 43%. So this is what we're looking at here is sort of comparison between 2014 and 2015 results. And as I said earlier, I hate to read too much in any longitudinal analysis, which is 2 years of data, but we've got this here. So let's start with you, John. What do you read into this? And then, Lyndon, if you have anything to add, we'll move over to you. So, John?
Yeah. I mean, again, you're fighting the industry, that is, a powerful cross-current. This time the cross-current is that overall fuel prices went down and were perceived to have gone down. The cost of home heating fuel cost of natural gas. This was the last 2 years, the last year in particular, a time when energy was cheaper. So one would think then that the cost of solar, the lag from when folks thought that solar was prohibitively expensive, would carry over even more, into the present time, when the reality is that folks see it as less expensive, and that's a good sign. Probably what might have been a better sign if fuel prices had actually, for non-renewables had actually gone up.
Indeed, indeed. All right, and this happened even against that backdrop. So, okay, let's move on to the last piece of this key finding.
Hey, Ron, I just want to make one comment there.
Sure.
So, a lot of people still think that oil has much to do with U.S. energy rates or electricity rates, and it just doesn't. In fact, if oil was free, it would have close to zero effect, like 1% effect on retail energy rates in the U.S., excluding Hawaii.
Huh.
Oh, you guys, I'm sorry. I assumed he was referring to natural gas costs. So, but that's a good point. And John, I don't know which one you're looking at. I mean, there really is no connection, as we know, between oil and electricity, but between oil and transportation fuels. But natural, what do you take? How do you read that, Lyndon, with natural gas? Because I mean, natural gas prices have come down. Of course, that doesn't usually impact my retail electricity rates very much.
Yeah, it has come down, but retail rates has actually gone up in
for utility electricity. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the other part that is becoming more and more obvious. Transmission and distribution is the biggest cost. It's also the oldest infrastructure that needs continual upgrades. So when your variable cost has come down to as low as it has for natural gas, but your retail rates are still going up, it's a clear indication that there's still a lot of infrastructure upgrades that have to occur.
Indeed. Well, good point. And I just to remind everyone that, I mean, we should probably talk about that more as an industry and just as analysts tracking it, but the very little connection between oil and electricity pricing. Let's go on now to the last part of this section. So we asked which, if any, clean energy purchase you're likely to make in the next year. And similar to last year, LEDs came up on top. 27% of respondents saying they're likely to purchase LED bulbs this year. The CAGR data shows that quite extensively. I mean, triple-digit growth rates, as I mentioned earlier. People are buying LEDs. They're now available at Home Depot for less than $5 a bulb, even for a Philips. So that's the top choice. Next planned purchase are smart thermostats, then Energy Star rated hot water heaters, so you can see the data here, and then double, triple pane windows, and then hybrid cars. All top 5 purchases this year, like the same as last year, are products that save money by reducing energy consumption. They have relatively low barrier to entry, although you have to think about putting in double and triple pane windows and things like that, but LEDs are obviously relatively inexpensive. And 4 of the top 5 are in the efficiency category. Lyndon, how do you interpret some of these findings here, just in terms of next purchases? Obviously, it's interesting data for us all to look at.
Yeah, to me, this is super interesting, as it clearly shows that the inertia or the effort of making the change is what determines how many people would do it. Like, for the most part, it is tremendously financially, it's a good financial decision to upgrade your water heater. And if it's older than 8 years or 10 years, upgrade your water heater and it'll be an easy payback. But most people don't. We were actually in the energy efficiency upgrade business, and it tends to be a market where when the product breaks, that's when they will upgrade to an efficient water heater. But they're not going to upgrade until it actually breaks. Reason why I think LED light bulbs are so high is to put in LED light bulbs, it's super easy. Just go buy the light bulb and put it in. and the other one probably has blown. So that's why you're upgrading to LEDs. So educating consumers how easy the moves are is something that we definitely have to improve in the solar sector. At 6%, that's too low.
Great. Well, we'll be tracking it over time. So now let's go into the investor section of the survey. We asked questions for the first time on how they view the social and environmental concerns and how they impact their investments. So first of all, we did find that a majority, or 52%, consider the social and environmental impact of their investments. They also express it a somewhat higher percentage in interest in impact investments, which promise not only financial returns, but social and environmental returns. So I'll take you to that slide, and you can see the results here. 74% said they would make such investments if they offer a potentially higher return. 61% would make such investments with returns at least as good as, at least what they consider as good as other options. And then interest drops to 22% if the impact investment would offer lower returns. Lyndon,